This 70-year-old cafeteria feeds 5,000 people a week. Michael Green is the third-generation owner of Matthew's Cafeteria in Tucker, Georgia.
10 pounds of macaroni, which makes 200 servings. And that's about the smallest batch I'll make.
In the early 1900s, while diners defined the American Northeast, the South had its own institution, cafeterias.
Anybody of a certain age grew up in the South eating at a cafeteria.
At their peak, thousands operated nationwide, with chains like Morrison's and Luby's popping up all over the South.
There's actually a section of the phone book for cafeterias.
It's mostly like a Sunday thing. Get out of church, got the kids, let's go to the cafeteria.
But in the 90s, cafeteria lines started to dry up, and many chains shuttered.
It's not just about food, it's about a community.
For the surviving cafeterias, rising restaurant prices might be sending customers back their way.
As fast food prices keep rising, consumers are looking for better value. Sit-down restaurants with bigger portions start to make more sense.
I went to Georgia to find out why these restaurants are getting harder to find, and to learn how one of the state's oldest cafeterias, and one of its newest, are fighting to keep their hot bars steaming and communities fed.
This is a really, really hard way to make a living.
Let that basket do the work, there you go.
Matthew's Cafeteria opened up in Tucker, Georgia in 1955. At the time, the Atlanta suburb was becoming a manufacturing hub, and workers stopped in on their lunch breaks.
To the basement.
Michael is still serving them many of his grandfather's original dishes.
We don't even write down recipes. There's nothing written down here.
Like these biscuits that Chef Maria has hand-mixed and cut for 24 years. The mac and cheese was Michael's grandmother's recipe.
Her macaroni was spongy. It was casserole-like. This is gonna be a bit overcooked in some people's eyes, but that's how my grandmother did it. Al dente is not a Southern American word. We are not cooking this al dente. 10 pounds of pasta, 8 pounds of cheese, which is the perfect ratio, I think. Looks like a lot of milk, but this is a lot of macaroni. You gotta learn to be ambidextrous in the kitchen or you will wear one arm out, I can tell you that.
On the other side of the kitchen, chefs tackle a crowd favorite, the chicken and dumplings.
She's cutting them now and letting them toughen up just a tad. It just gives them a little more resiliency when they go into the boiling broth.
Michael's juggling a massive scale, with 100 items on the menu each week. He also has to choose dishes that'll stay tasty for hours on a steam table, a classic cafeteria feature. Take this rice, for example. Michael steam cooks it like you would pasta, with extra water. That way it stays fluffy. Michael's also working within the confines of a cramped, nearly century-old building.
It was not built to be a restaurant. Some of my relatives lived here at one point, then it was a general store.
Instead of running food up the narrow steps of the restaurant, chefs rely on this old dumbwaiter from the 1950s.
And the dumbwaiter was not electric at first. It had counterweights. It was done by hand. Better than walking it up the steps.
But even with this old layout, the staff has to keep the restaurant running for 15 hours a day, from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. They open that early for the factory workers who start at 6.
It fills a void for people, you know, nowhere else to get breakfast.
Do y'all come here often?
It's been going on 50 years.
Even a little breakfast club, I love it.
Unlike buffets, which usually charge a flat fee for unlimited food, cafeterias charge per item. As you slide your tray down, you pick what you want and pay for what's on your plate.
Look at this spread. What's really impressive is all of this was like less than $15. Look at this. You have the nice crust on the outside, but it's soft and pillowy on the inside. I mean, come on. It's so good. This is like a three-handed job. And some biscuits and gravy. Oh my God, look at the sheen on that. That biscuit stayed crunchy. I feel like they've figured out the science of still being yummy, but sitting out. I used to stop at cafeterias on road trips when I was a kid, and this feels very familiar and very homey. Even though I just got here, I just feel sort of like wrapped up in this coziness of a giant biscuit sandwich and a big pile of sausage gravy.
But the day is just getting started. In 3 hours, hundreds of people will show up for the lunch rush. And Matthews changes its menu every single day. On the Tuesday we visited, Michael was finishing up the barbecue pork, slow-cooked out back for 12 hours.
Almost falling apart, almost. That is some good barbecue right there. This is for you. These are the best little bits. I don't know why they always stick to the grate.
Wow,
The sugar almost gets candy-like on the
Yeah.
outside, yeah.
that's a beautiful crust to it.
Friday is for his wife Jenna's chicken and rice casserole.
It was so good that we added it to the menu and I took it and multiplied it by 1,000. I mean, literally.
Michael actually met his wife here 14 years ago during a lunch service.
On the other side of that pole is a plaque that says where Jenna met Michael, and that's where I proposed to her.
But it's not just his wife who has kept Michael coming back all these years.
I hated this place as a kid. I didn't want to go to work in the summer. My friends weren't working. They were at the pool. And then you get old enough to listen to people when they tell you how special, for whatever reason, this place is to them. And now I get it.
Gotta get a spoon.
I love to cook. The steam, the sounds, the smells, the energy, and the people I get to work with every day. I love these guys, I do. Hey,
Sorry.
love you, man.
I was even more impressed with the lunch menu.
Can you hear that? Nice and crispy. The chicken is still tender inside. Next up, I'm gonna try these chicken and dumplings. Oh, that's so cozy. And they let the dumplings firm up so that there's a nice kind of like chew to them.
My favorite thing on the table? That mac and cheese.
Yeah. Slaps. That's like childhood mac and cheese. I can see why this is one of their crowd favorites.
Both of these trays for myself and my camera guy were $47, including desserts.
Look at that crust. And then strawberry shortcake. That's really good. It's pretty impressive that so much of this is made from scratch, because it's not like that big of a kitchen, you know?
And I wasn't the only one enjoying it. Retired police officer Mike Reagan comes in with all of his friends from the force every week.
It's kind of like a community gathering place in Tucker. Tucker's still got that small family feel, like small town. And when you come in here and eating, a lot of people, you might not sit and talk to, but they always say hey. They always say hi.
That community feel is part of why cafeterias were so successful to begin with. But they didn't start in the South. The earliest recorded one popped up in New York City in 1885, right across from the stock exchange. Brokers ate and then paid for their food on the honor system. In the 1890s, at an exposition in Chicago, the restaurant style was named cafeterias, borrowing the Spanish word for coffee shop, cafeterias. In 1906, the first California cafeteria chain, Boo Brothers, opened up. By 1927, it had 6 locations in Los Angeles and was nicknamed the Cafeteria Trail. Then the cafeterias started taking over the southern U.S. They fit the old-fashioned home-style cooking already preferred in the region. Their audience only grew after World War II, as the South urbanized around textile mills, car and airplane factories, and shipyards. Cafeterias became a go-to for workers who needed cheap filling meals on tight schedules. The food was on full display, cutting down on customer complaints. Things were cooked in bulk to bring down the cost per serving. And the line was set up so high-margin sides like desserts and salads came first, encouraging customers to load up their trays before reaching lower-margin main dishes like meats. Morrison's opened up in 1920 and would become one of the biggest cafeteria chains in America, followed by chains like S&S in Georgia, K&W in North Carolina, Piccadilly in Louisiana, and Luby's in Texas. On Sundays, southern cafeterias filled up with families after church.
get out of church, got the kids, let's go to the cafeteria.
By the 1960s, cafeterias were all over malls, downtowns, and shopping centers in the South. But there was tension brewing. Cafeterias were segregated in the Jim Crow South. In 1961, protesters staged a sit-in at the Anamod Cafeteria in Oklahoma City. In 1964, dozens of Black Tennesseans were arrested for protesting a whites-only Morrison's in Nashville. The chain didn't change its whites-only policy until after the Civil Rights Act was passed, banning segregation in public spaces. Soon, cafeterias faced big competition from fast food. By the mid-70s, McDonald's and Burger King had hundreds of locations. They were cheaper than a cafeteria line, and they had convenient drive-thrus.
And they have buying power. They can offer a sausage biscuit for $1. I can't. It's like the mom and pop hardware store competing with Home Depot.
Cafeterias also felt pressure from casual dining chains like Chili's and Applebee's, which expanded rapidly in suburban America in the 80s and 90s. Then mall traffic began to slow, drying up the dependable crowds that had sustained cafeterias for decades. Many cafeterias tried to cut costs, switching from fresh ingredients to canned and frozen ones. But they lost loyal customers when the quality worsened. Business was so tough that big cafeteria chains began consolidating and closing. Piccadilly bought Morrison's. In 2020, Luby's almost went under, but a new owner managed to save 32 locations. In 2022, Piccadilly bought another chain, K&W, but 3 years later, it shut down all the remaining locations. Piccadilly itself went from 270 locations in 1998 to fewer than 30 today.
The family, everything, yes, tradition, all that is gone. All that went out the window.
It breaks my heart.
It's sad. It's sad to see things fade into history.
But a newer cafeteria down the road from Matthews is proving they're not all dinosaurs. When a nearby S&S cafeteria shuttered after 43 years in business, Louis Squires bought its old equipment.
I was so heartbroken by it, I thought I could rescue it.
He opened the Magnolia Room, featuring the refurbished cafeteria line, in 2017. It has higher prices, a more upscale feel than Matthews, and a waitstaff. Plus, it's not open for breakfast. But the kitchen was still buzzing on a cold Wednesday morning.
You feel the pressure? Okay. All right, 3 minutes on that lasagna.
And head chef Deborah Tardif is at the helm of it all.
All right, Cirilla, we got all the bread out? It's full, thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Green beans, pinto beans, collard greens, beets. I started cooking when I was 9 years old. So this is my passion. It comes just like walking now.
She has to keep everyone in line because together they'll make 37 dishes for lunch in just 3 hours.
Nobody want to come in a restaurant with cold food. I want them running, and as you can see, they run. They run.
On one end of the kitchen, cooks chop all the fresh produce for the salad bar and stewed vegetables. 2 people work the fryers, dropping in okra and chicken. Deborah's right behind them, singing out instructions.
Now shake it. Yep, let that basket do the work. There you go. Voila.
Over in the bakery section, chefs whip up cornbreads and pies, piled high with meringue. This kitchen might look like a well-oiled machine, but before opening the Magnolia Room, Louis didn't have any restaurant experience. He worked at Macy's.
I don't know how to cook. I mean, I don't like cooking. I don't enjoy it.
But when he noticed that a nearby S&S was selling its old equipment at a discount, he got into the restaurant business.
It was a fire sale. I got all the equipment for $24,000, so it was a steal. To duplicate it today would be about $200,000.
And it was a huge gamble.
Foolish looking back on it. I didn't realize how horribly complex restaurants were. So the journey all along, at least in the early days, was, should I keep doing this or not? Should I just fold?
He chose a shuttered dinner theater as the site of his new restaurant because of its size.
It was hard to find a building that could accommodate a stainless steel 50-foot serving line. It is two 25-foot long sections. And the poor thing arrived and it was just sitting on its side like two sections of a beached whale. It broke my heart, but now look at it. It's back alive.
Since Lewis didn't know how to run a cafeteria, he hired people who did.
It's just an entirely different way of feeding the customer and serving the customer. And you need people that have had that experience.
He convinced Deborah to leave her post at an S&S in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where she says the food quality had dipped.
They changed so much, they got away from the old tradition stuff. Nobody didn't want that. Less guests coming in, less hours.
Lewis found server Sherelle Summers at another S&S in Atlanta, and waitress Tanisha Williams from a Piccadilly in Atlanta, where she worked for 23 years.
You're gonna get my tray? It's pretty heavy though.
Oh, I know. I can help.
Look at her. Doesn't even flinch.
No,
thank you.
Yeah, this is a happy place to be. You know I love it here. Yes, ma'am.
Some of Lewis's chefs even brought old recipes from former chains, but upgraded them with fresh ingredients. Like the pies got real vanilla instead of artificial, and butter in place of margarine. That's partly why Lewis moved away from the old, cheaper cafeteria model and started charging more. His main dishes, on average, are 28% more expensive than those at Matthew's. Despite the cost, the Magnolia Room has thrived, Lewis says, because it went back to what made the chain so successful in the first place: really yummy food.
All of these cafeterias used to have exceptionally good food on the level of what we're serving here, but they abandoned it. But I will always raise the price before I cut the quality.
And he says people are willing to pay.
How often do you come in here?
6 to 7 times a week. And well, with the price of groceries, I don't see much cost difference.
The Magnolia Room's customers aren't the only ones doing the math.
When prices rise, people want to feel like going out to eat is worth it.
In 2025, U.S. fast food prices climbed faster than casual sit-down restaurants.
In a K-shaped economy, lower-income consumers are pulling back on spending, not eating out as much, and higher-income consumers are still going out. But if they're realizing that they're spending $12 to $15 at the drive-thru, they're starting to think, I could just go someplace and sit down and have a better experience for the same amount of money. The brands that are offering bigger portions at reasonable prices, like Olive Garden, Texas Roadhouse, Chili's, they're seeing traffic growth. But traditional fast food giants like Wendy's and McDonald's just aren't seeing the same momentum. And that shift is happening across the industry, not just at casual chains.
For the Magnolia Room, that shift is showing up at the register.
They do all the work. All I have to do is enjoy it. Nothing in here is canned. Nothing saw the inside of a freezer.
Most of the comments we get are that it's an excellent value because it really is the same level of freshness and quality that a fine dining restaurant would order.
Just like the cafeterias of the 50s, Lewis's kitchen makes everything from scratch.
People can't believe we still do that. We run a very good food cost, we run a good labor cost, and everybody's happy. So this notion that it can't be done in today's world because of the high expense of labor is not what I've found.
But were Lewis's claims of quality legit? I put them to the test. First with the fried chicken.
That is some crispy skin. I don't understand how they fired that a few hours ago, yet it's still so crispy and so juicy.
That chicken was an absolute standout.
And look at the size of this piece. I mean, that's a whole chicken. Look at the size of my head. We got the chicken pot pie with the biscuit on top. That's a power move. Instead of dumplings, putting a giant biscuit on top. Look at that crab stuffed catfish. Ooh. Whoa. You get hit with those like really strong Creole spices at the front and then that briny note in the back. Off a cafeteria line. Are you kidding me? Can try fried okra.
The only thing Matthews might have won on was the mac and cheese.
It doesn't really have the cream sauce that we saw at Matthew's. This is more like souffle almost. Considering how much butter we saw go on top, it's kind of silly I'm putting more on, but you know, when in the South. That's that melt in your mouth pillowiness. Oh, it's so yummy.
And these sweet potato balls were a surprise home run.
Marshmallow, sweet potato, saltines fried together, and a bunch of sugar. I don't think I've ever tasted anything like that. That feels special.
So the Magnolia Room's food was delicious, but it also reimagined what a cafeteria could be and rebuilt a community around its food. One that I was immediately scooped up into.
It's just like that you would have cooked it at home.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. But you don't have to cook it. You just come here and let them cook
Just
it.
come here.
I met this couple, Mama Eula and her husband, Mr. Maddox, in line, and they invited me to sit with them.
Real old auntie.
I doubt it.
78 and 75.
I'm telling you.
Get with the program. What's wrong with you?
I'm telling you, Southern food makes everyone look young, I think.
Want any gravy on your dressing?
When you come in here, it's warm and it's welcome.
Yeah.
It's like a family. It just feels like home.
Yeah.
It really feels like home. You know how me and you met?
Yeah.
Just like we've been knowing each other, what, how long?
I've known you my whole life, actually.
I'm from the country. This is just like some food that you would take off the stove, put on your table, and your family would eat.
And that's what this restaurant is all about.
This is the caring place. And you can be my daughter too, and you can be my son too.
I'd be honored. Thank you.
Waitresses hugged the folks who stopped in and knew their names and orders by heart.
It is wealthy people. It is low-income people. It is all racial groups. It is old and it is young. I think this food is a great equalizer.
I wondered if Lewis could rescue other failing cafeteria chain locations.
There's a few K&Ws that have seemed empty at this point.
I'm just salivating. It's just driving me crazy. I'm like, these would be so successful as a Magnolia Room. Yeah, so you never know. But if this is the only one, this is the only one. It does sort of make it special.
Michael doesn't have plans to duplicate Matthew's cafeteria either. He's focusing on the community that's already there, relying largely on hospitality manager Candace Caswell to make people feel at home. I caught Candace making little table bouquets with holly from her yard.
A lot of our customers have been coming here forever, and some of them are alone.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't have anybody, so it just kind of makes for a homier atmosphere.
That's really sweet for you to even think about that.
Oh, well, I love people, and you know I have a gift of gab, Abby.
Matthew's, frozen in time, has long known that it needs to be ready to serve whoever shows up hungry.
Antes no venían muchos hispanos acá, pero hoy sí vienen mucho. Viene mucha gente hispana también. Mucho, mucho, mucho. Vuelven y a veces traen extra gente a comer acá.
You know, everything seems in popular culture to come full circle. Bell-bottoms become cool again, haircuts become cool again, and then luckily for us, I think we've hung around long enough to where maybe the way we used to do things is cool again.
Magnolia Room and Matthew's have held on to something the rest of the restaurant industry is clamoring for. The idea that a meal can still be communal. And for the people who keep coming back, that's worth standing in line for.
Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us. If you're ever within range of Tucker, Georgia, and you want to see the way it used to be done in the South, and it's still being done right,